So many times, no matter where I'm at in my spiritual journey, the question comes back to me, who am I? And no matter how many times I answer that, I find that I'm missing something. There's always something more to figure out. So if I go into the idea of who am I, then I must have an idea that who am I in relationship to something else? Because to define me, I have to be able to define myself against something else. So what I do then is I go to the idea and question, what is God? Because I know that there's something in me that's greater than me, that I'm a part of something greater than me. And I attribute it to this idea that we call God, meaning it is an infinite power and infinite presence. It is the seen, the unseen, the known, and the unknown. That which is all powerful, that which has always been, that which will always be. And then when I think about that, what is that? I'm without words. I don't know how to relate to that. And so what I've done is I've focused today is I've come to the idea that can we know God? What is it? Because this is what we're seeking all the time. It's about how can we know this infinite power, this infinite presence that exists. We know it exists, but we don't know. How do we know it? Are we playing games with ourselves? So this is what I came down to. This is the best I've got today. We are the visible expression and form of God. So I am a visible, whole, and perfect expression of God. You are a visible, whole, and perfect expression of God. So let's define whole and perfect right now. Whole and perfect means is that you are not incomplete. Because everything that is God is in you because you are created out of it. So the infinite power and presence is within every cell in your body. Your mind and its mind are the same mind. The power that it has, you have to create your life any way you want. That power is always working and is available to you. It never is denied to you. It is only mirroring back to you that which you think into it. So it is like God is a perfect creative mirror that gives you whatever you put in front of it. Okay? So that's that aspect of God. So let's go to this. In our human form, all we can know is a feeling of oneness and connection. It is the feeling that one has within at moments that allows that greatness that is within us seeking to expand. Because most of the time in our human form, the mind is hearing everything from the outside. It's hearing the consciousness of society. It's hearing our parents. It's filling us up with these thoughts and these ideas, and these thoughts and ideas limit us. You see, anytime we have the experience of limitation, we are not connected and feel the presence of oneness. It is only when we're unlimited that we feel it. So if we are self-criticizing ourselves, there's limitation. We're not in God presence. If we criticize another, we judge another, we're not in God. Because God, the infinite, does not judge. Because to judge, you must see something other than God. And God can't judge because there's nothing other than it. So it can't compare itself to anything. Wouldn't that be cool? You just stand in front of the mirror. I got nothing to compare against. Look at that. That man is perfect. Just like he is. Can you imagine if you could look at yourself, look at your life, and just embody it is perfect right now? Because it is perfect because it has responded to you based on the nature of your thought with precision throughout your entire existence, and it will continue to do so, so you know that no matter where you are in that moment, you are perfect. So as I go and I listen to teachers from the East, and I listen to teachers from the West, and I listen to the intellectual aspects of God, and I listen to the feeling natures of God, I listen to the etheric aspects of God, and I listen to all this, I realize it is man or humankind trying to put a definition around something that cannot be defined. It is only something that can be felt. And so it's a journey. It's a journey that we're on, going from understanding to knowing. And that is a huge journey. Because no matter where you go, the teachings that we're talking about here, everybody's got these teachings. If you break it down and you get beneath everything, the teachings are all the same. It is done unto you as you believe. The Father and I are one. Go within. The power is within you. And then you go to the east, connect into the stillness. In the stillness, there is the oneness. Now you're in a state of oneness with all that is. And in that state, become unattached, because being unattached means I am one with the divine, because the divine certainly wouldn't be attached to anything. The divine certainly couldn't care what anyone thought about them, because the divine knows it's whole and perfect right here, right now, and it's living in that. Wow. Think about if you could be in your body, in your mind, and living from that divine presence right here, right now, all the time. Think about the freedom that that would bring to you, because you were never concerned about what another person ever said. You would be never concerned whether you were good enough. Did you measure up? No, you are the divine. You are the unique and whole and perfect expression of God right now. All your journey is about going from understanding who you are to knowing who you are. Knowing who you are means, God, the power that's in you to create is so, it's unimaginable. You could do so many things with your life that you have even begun to imagine, because of the limitations that have come upon because of society and what we bought into. I don't know if you could fly, because that's a law of gravity. It's a human law. But within the human body, if you exclude the physical limitations of physics or science, there's nothing you can't experience. Think about the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers, they said you couldn't fly, but they found a natural way to put a plane into the air, and now we take flying for granted. We've gone to the moon. We've got space, people going up to the space station. And yet we're exploring out there, and we really haven't even got down to the bottoms of the ocean to see what's there and all the life that's there. So there's so much we haven't even imagined. And so here it is, knowing. When we know, it is a moment of enlightenment. Did you hear that word, moment? There's no such thing as being an enlightened being. When someone tells me that they're an enlightened being, I run. I just run. I don't care if they're a guru in India. I don't care where they are. They are an aware being, but they are not an enlightened, meaning that they have transcended human form, and they've gone beyond the idea of contrast, because contrast is essential to human nature. You see, the human body by itself, just touching it, causes you contrast. You do this and you feel it. If you keep doing it, it gets painful. You keep doing it, the skin gets raw. It's part of the human expression. So we're here to experience our five senses. We're not here to go off in a cave, meditate, and go into samadhi, that state of eternal bliss. Because I would venture to tell you that to do that is the most selfish act you can possibly do. I would also say this is because if you do that, you're ignoring oneness. Because to experience oneness is not just a journey within you. It's a journey with you, seeing others as the same. And how do we connect with those others? How do we embody the presence of God within us and see it in them? And allow them their ability to be their unique, whole, and perfect self, instead of trying to change everyone. You see, we've got a society right now that's trying to change everyone to be just like something that they've created as the model for us to be. That is not what this is about. We were meant to be unique. We were meant to do that. We were meant also to honor everyone's uniqueness. As long as it's not taking life, it's not harmful, we allow that uniqueness. So the journey from knowing, or from journey from understanding to knowing, this is where spiritual practice comes in. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you get to knowing, and once you get to knowing, you have a moment of enlightenment, and then we forget. Because why? We have an ego, and the ego takes us back to understanding. The ego wants to control. The ego's got a purpose. It's there to help us in the physical world. It's there to tell us when we need to fight or flight. But we have to take the power back. So this is why daily spiritual practice is critical to that. Because our journey to experience as God is found in a life that is fully expressed, experienced, and centered in spiritual practice. Without spiritual practice, we become numb. Spiritual practice is a term people don't want to embody because they're afraid of committing to something. Well, let me say this. If you knew you did something and it gave you the power to overcome anything, why would you not want to do that? If you knew you could have physical health at all times, if you committed to a spiritual practice focused on physical health, why would you be afraid to commit to a daily practice on that? If you knew you could have loving, caring, supportive relationships, why wouldn't you commit to a spiritual practice that allowed you to have those relationships? If you wanted to have abundance where you were financially free to do whatever you wanted, when you wanted, and how you wanted it, why wouldn't you commit to a practice that allowed you to do that? Those are some really good questions. And yet we don't do that. Why? Because we allow the habit of thought that has been blanketly created in our minds through our lives, however old we are, to just keep running it instead of saying, okay, time for a spiritual reboot. And a spiritual reboot is when we do our daily practice. And so the first thing I'll talk about is this idea of meditation. Because meditation is a journey into the infinite that allows us to experience ourselves beyond our physical bodies and our limiting beliefs and ideas. And one of the things we do is, as we venture into the idea of meditation, we start with guided meditation. And guided meditation is really this. It's simply a form of relaxation. That's all it is, if you really think about it. Meditation is being still. Your body being perfectly still. Your mind becomes still. That really takes work. So that in that stillness, the soul essence of you reveals itself through the body and the mind, and it becomes immersed in the infinite. When you have that moment of connection in meditation, the boundaries of physical and mental disappear. In that, there is a bliss that comes over you. Think about this too. Because spirit is unlimited, the bliss that you can feel is unlimited. It can go to greater and greater lengths. So as I practice this new form of meditation that I'm into right now called Shrividya, and I'm now in the level 2 of it, and I'm going through 7 levels. It'll take me a year and a half. Just simply moving to the next level took me to a state that when I get through that meditation, I'm sitting in the stillness. The description that I would give you would be 20-fold of where I was through level 1. And yet, my friend Niranjan, who's on level 4, tells me that you've only taken a baby step. Because what he experienced as he continues to go on is beyond anything he could even imagine when he was doing level 2. I share that with you because I want you to know that you have the same power in you depending on how you want to commit to your spiritual practice. The power is in you to the degree that you invest, to the degree that you become that which the number one purpose in your life is to find that power in you, you can have it. It is through our directed thought, or our directed thought teaches us how about and how to use the inner power. So we talk about directing our thought. We do that through affirmations. We do that through prayer. We do that through forgiveness. We do that through visioning and visualization. We do that because where we direct our thought, remember the directing of our thought begins to create an understanding of something. As we create an understanding of something and we keep doing it and we meditate on it, all of a sudden it will have a shift and we will have a moment where it goes from understanding to knowing, and then we will have an insight into the divine, and we will be filled with a wisdom and a knowledge that we've never had before, which will cause us now to go back and use our directed thought to even a higher expression of that which is. And what we find happening is that when we go and we find this expression, at first, when we start using our directed thought and we'll demonstrate houses or cars or clothes or material things and relationships. After we understand when our basic needs are met, having more doesn't necessarily mean a greater joy. We will start focusing on how can I create the ability to be with someone and be still while they share who they are, so that I don't react to them, but I respond to them from the place of knowing my oneness, knowing where their oneness is, and supporting them as they become aware. When we start really directing our thought there, it becomes very powerful, because the initial stage, and it's really it's about spiritual maturity. And spiritual maturity comes when we move from the idea of connecting in oneness with ourselves, so it becomes a very self-centered journey, to connecting within ourselves and then being with others and seeing the same with them. See, there is this two aspects to it. To be really truly be self-loving, hear the word self-loving, meaning I see the wholeness, the perfection, the divineness of God within me right now, but I really can't see it if I can't see it for you or for anyone. I can't know my own magnificence unless I see it for others, and that means all others. So it really becomes clear today that when I pray, today I pray for people to connect. The mission statement for the Centers for Spiritual Living includes the idea of creating a world that works for everyone. Well, think about the idea of a world that works for everyone. Wouldn't that be a world that is self-loving of itself and loving of all others in it, and finding a way to be together in a harmonic unity while we create our individual and collective lives together? See, it's not just about changing our consciousness. It's about impacting the collective consciousness. That's really taking it to the place. And so you're probably saying to yourself, where's gratitude, Lee? See, gratitude is that aspect and that practice that affirms our connection. So we don't go, I'm grateful that I have a car. It's not that. I'm grateful that there is a power and a presence within me that has allowed me to bring my gift to the world, that has opened me up to receive the ability to use this vessel, this vehicle, to transform me and move me into a greater connection where I can create even more. You see, when we're giving thanks, we're acknowledging that there is a power within us that we are using, and through the conscious use of that power, we connect with that which is infinite. We are having a moment of oneness with all that is, and in that moment of oneness, we are all powerful because it's in the oneness that the power comes. Ernest Holmes says so clearly, he says that we build a mental mold of what we want. And then we do the spiritual practice to fill that mold with the emotional feelings, which is the connection into oneness. And that's what feelings are. Feelings are that experience of oneness. We fill that mold with the feelings, and the mold just creates. But it only creates until we know. The mold doesn't create from a sense of understanding. It creates from a sense of knowing. And the knowing can only come as we do the journey of spiritual practice. And so people ask, what do you teach at Agape? I says, we teach a positive, practical spirituality that empowers individuals to better self-love, to love others, and to create a world that works for everyone. Can you even imagine today a world that works for everyone? We're going to do that right now. So close your eyes. No matter where you are in your life, I want you to see yourself in this moment as whole and perfect. Look at yourself through the eyes of a child who is in wonder with life, and see that your physical body now allows you to do whatever you want. See that your mind now is without restriction. It is beyond any boundaries around it. And you can go anywhere, imagine anything. See yourself now interacting with all beings from this place of love, of understanding, of peace, of beauty, of acceptance. Feel the freedom that is vibrating in every cell of your being. Because it is here that we know that I am that. I am that I am. And in this moment, feel every cell of your body filled with a light, the God light, the light of love. And now see that light exuding from your body into the world, connecting with all beings everywhere. And it now becomes the light of God, the light of the infinite. This is the feeling of God. It is in this feeling that we know and I anchor the truth. Everything other than this is an illusion, and I let it go. And so in this feeling now I go to a place of gratitude. Because I know that when I give thanks, I affirm the divine presence and power that exists in me and that exists in you. So I speak these words, knowing that I am blessed and that you are blessed, that I am a blessing and that you are a blessing. And in the form of gratitude that is now exuding from me and exuding from you, this prayer, this visualization of a world that works for everyone is now made so. Because that's all we see, all we know, because of who we are, the oneness and the perfection of life, right here, right now. And together, in one voice, we let it be as we affirm it and say, and so it is. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website,
agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.